All right, students, hello, and welcome to another step of our process when it comes to writing. Today, we'll be focusing mainly on introductions. If you go to modules, I'm going to actually have a separate modules for all of my examples here, but you're going to look at shopping for introductions. So if you need to, you can click here. And when you click at the top there, it'll get you to this Google Doc. Now, how I made this Google Doc isn't the one all be all, but I do like how it sort of has a recipe here for introductions when you do an I say, they say, I say approach. You'll see one of my examples here. And then all these other examples here are different types of introductions. Hence, you are going to go shopping for introductions. You're basically going to find a way that like you can steal the structure, but you're going to change the content for yourself. Now, to think about it like a writing by colors approach, why are you? Sorry, get rid of that. Are you still there? Okay. Okay. I like to think, and by the way, for our colorblind friends, you can see that this is also broken down by numbers. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, which with a little asterisk here because it's kind of optional, and then 5, which will be our thesis. So to get things started, you want to start with a they say, I say approach or an intention grabber to entice the reader to your paper. This could be 2 words, a common saying, a random fact. A great go-to is a significant quote. You know what? I'm going to call it a great go-to. I'm going to call it a common go-to because this seems to have been overly done, but it is something that you can do if you really need to get started and you're in a pinch. From there, you're going to then bridge the attention grabber to the context of your paper. You want to continue to provide context of your piece, just kind of, so if we're talking about this topic, how does it get narrowed into your world? And number 3 is actually pretty important. You want to provide the setting, the scenario, a character, the title, the author of the text. Don't let this be too long. Some writers, I should say, will sometimes overly write and spill everything out that's going on the paper. In my assessment, I kind of want you to dedicate more of this writing towards you and less towards just, every single thing that happened in the book. If it's opportunistic for you, you could briefly provide context of the techniques used in this medium. So if you want to go ahead and name certain magical realism techniques, like the nonchalant tone, for example, fragmentation, ambiguity, you have that option here. A lot of literary analysis, when it's specific, like magical realism, historical fiction, or postmodern aesthetics, you might have to prove to the professor that, yes, I am paying attention to these niche terminology. But no matter what, at the end of the day, you definitely have to end on your thesis, right? Then you write your thesis explaining how your short story, or in this case, novel, carries another argument. So here's an example I stole, and I like this one because it actually has the 4 sort of in it. But you can see how I apply it here with one example. Feel free to pause and read it yourself. Let me just spell that correctly. Okay. So from here, you can really just take a look at this piece, and you'll see even here, I've taken this example, for example, and I've stolen the structure, but I changed the content, okay? I'll allow yourself to go ahead and look at it, but if you see how it starts with much and somewhere in the middle has but, I do the same thing here. You could pause and look back if you need to, or look at your own time because you have that example of the worksheet. Now, how does this look like for Exit West? I actually went ahead and copied this for whatever reason and put this on the top of my paper, sort of as a North Star. But what I like about this example is that it speaks so generally about, getting a Grammy, sorry, moving on a little bit more specific. Then you see a little bit of the context of the piece I'm looking at, and I sort of try to do the same thing here. So I'll go ahead and let you pause and take a look at this is gonna be the draft of my introduction for my paper. So please feel free to pause and take a look there. So I hope that this will be helpful for you. I'm sorry this is a little bit of a rush, but as I'm doing this, I'm noticing little keywords and phrases that I'm borrowing. And again, from here's the rest of my outline. I'll move on to what I'll do from there, but this is just to make sure I'm getting my piece started. I have something leading up to my thesis. Thank you very much and happy writing.